Hello, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel. This is the weekly angel card reading for the week beginning August the 14th and finishing on the 20th, 2017. So let's start with shuffling the cards and see what messages the angels have to tell us that will help us navigate the challenges that face us and the situations that appear for us. So, Archangel Michael, great start to the week. So Archangel Michael, I refer to him as my spiritual bodyguard because he is associated with strength, with courage, with confidence, with protection. So, I mean, what more could you really need? Well, a lot more actually, and that's why there are a lot more archangels, but this is the big one. And he's, the name Michael literally means he who is next to God. So he's considered one of the, the highest in terms of the realms of archangels. So every morning I ask Archangel Michael to place a protective shield around me. And I know I've talked about this many, many times, so I won't go into that now. So whatever it is that you're going through right now, Michael can help you with it. So whether you're facing something difficult like a job interview and you need some confidence, he can help you with that. Whether you're just being tested by a conflict in your family, maybe you need strength or courage. Maybe you're facing some sort of challenge in your relationship, again, courage. Maybe you're around lots of negative people and you're feeling really affected by that. Protection is probably what you need. Maybe you feel like your job is under threat and you're scared. Maybe you need to be reminded that you're safe. So, and that you're not going to be left destitute. So call on Michael for whatever it is you need. And on that note, I have actually arranged for Michael's personal deck of cards. They're not his personally, but they're dedicated to him, to come up for Tuesday. So that was very fortuitous. So what is it for Tuesday, the 15th of August, in the Leo season that we need to know? Just notice these cards are starting to look like they're well used. The edges are looking a little bit tired, but that's all right. That's a good sign. It's like a book that's been well read and loved. It's a good one. Oh my goodness, they're certainly making me wait today, aren't they? It'll probably be a message about patience now that I've said that. Oh, okay, make a commitment. So let me just tune into this one. This is coming up because people are wavering on what they want to do because of fears, because of distractions, because of all the energies that are going around at the moment that are really intense and making us feel more fearful and more overwhelmed. Some of you know you've got a big life purpose and you're getting off task with that because you're scared or because you don't think you're good enough or because it seems too big. So call on Michael to help you with that. It's really just asking you to commit to what's important to you. Don't be drifting through life. I mean, yes, life is about having fun. That's very important. That comes up a lot. But you don't want to be just going through the motions of every day and not having something to show for your days. Of course, all the things that you're learning are important and they don't manifest in anything physical, but you want to be working towards achieving something, some sort of life goal or something that's going to manifest what your soul came here to do. I know that sounds really, really heavy, and it's okay if you don't know what your life purpose here is yet. Lots of people don't, and it's also, most of us have more than one, so don't worry about that too much. But what is it that you really want to achieve, and commit to that? They're saying this is really not about anything superficial. It's not about losing weight or anything, even though there's nothing wrong with aiming to do that, as long as you're aware that you're doing it, as long as you're doing it for yourself and for your health and not to please other people or because you think it will make you happy, when in actual fact, happiness comes from within. It's not about goals such as, it's talking about a higher level of goals that you're aiming towards. Are you aiming to bring more gratitude into your day? Are you aiming to Are you wanting to commit to being more present when you spend time with your kids? Whatever it is, make sure it's something that aligns with your soul. I know that sounds really vague, but it's the simplest way I can do it. Can put it. It's about something higher, something that's about their inner life kind of stuff, which I'm all about. Now Wednesday, and I guess you're all about it too, or you wouldn't be watching this. Oop. Okay, right here. Beloved one, different archangel, this one, Archangel Chamuel. So he is associated with finding things. So if you grew up in a Christian household, you're probably familiar with Saint Anthony. He's the one you call on when you can't find your car keys. This is the archangel equivalent. So call on, you can call on Chamuel when you need your keys, or you need something, anything you've lost, and that can be anything from something material right up to your soulmate. You're looking for your soulmate. So it might be something that you haven't actually had yet. So it's not lost, but it is missing. So, and it's interesting that that was the first example that came up, and probably because that was who I talked to a lot when I was single. But Chamuel, his message here is very much about romance. So call on him if you are looking for love and you need help. Now, it's very much about that higher, I'm using the word higher a lot today, aren't I? About that higher level commitment. So it's not about if you're just looking for a partner and anyone will do because you just want to not be single anymore. If you are looking for that deep soul connection, this is the person you talk to. Chamuel and Saint Anthony as well can probably help with that, although I'm certainly not an expert on the saints. Now, if you are already in that soul connection relationship, that's awesome. You can also ask for help exposing anything that needs resolving in the relationship, anything that needs healing. You can ask Chamuel for that. I would probably tend to talk to Raphael more for that, personally, because he is associated with romantic relationships, and he's also associated with healing. But if you feel like there's something missing, perhaps it's time together, you can ask Chamuel for help with making that happen, so you can, reconnect. So he can help you deepen the strength of your connection, I guess, your relationship, because as we know, finding the person that you want to be with is not the end of the story, even though Hollywood tells us that. It's just the beginning of a whole new journey, and it is a lot of work. Rewarding, yes, but it is work, no doubt about it. So Thursday, and it's also commitment, which is appropriate given the card we had for Tuesday. So, if that's what you take from that Tuesday card about commitment, maybe it is about you making a new commitment to your relationship and needing to really be all in when you've been teetering on the edges of something because you're scared, or because you've been hurt before, or because some sort of protection mechanism, or perhaps your mind has been on other things such as your career. Maybe you need to, and of course there's nothing wrong with focusing on your career, but you want to make sure that your relationship is not suffering because of that. You're not holding back from talking to your partner about the things that are on your mind, or the things that are worrying you, or you're not holding back from, committing to making plans with them because you're too busy thinking about, I've got to get through all these emails in my inbox. Moving on to Thursday, cut your cords. This is Michael again. So when I talked about him being associated with safety, he has this sort of light, which you can see on this card. And when I do cord cutting work with clients in a Reiki session, or just a general energy healing session, it's Michael I'm calling on. So this sort of light cuts through cords of unhealthy attachments. So if you are attached to your ex still, Michael can help you cut that, as long as you're willing to do it. And I have had clients who are like, yeah, I want to let him go, I want to move on. And when I go to do this, Michael says they're still holding on. For some reason they think they want to move on, but there's something still holding them there because they still think that that's the best they're going to get. For that could be one reason, or they still are holding on to that connection because they're remembering all the good times and thinking they don't want to let go of that. So, so there's relationships. You can also have cords that attach you to negative thought patterns that are keeping you doing some sort of negative habit, such as, smoking, or something that's stopping you from exercising, or whatever it is. So what are you attached to? Is it an idea? They're saying it is going to be about ideas for most of you. Some idea that's not working for you, something that you're stubbornly holding on to, and you need to cut the cord of that because you've put so much energy into it that it's actually an energetic attachment. This is what happens in relationships. Even though you've ended the relationship, there's still often an energetic cord there. So sometimes you do need help severing that. So look at where you're stuck and where you need to cut some cords. You can do that yourself, or you can get an energy healer to help you with it. I would hit up YouTube. I'm pretty sure there are cord cutting meditations on Doreen Virtue's channel. If not, do a Google. It's pretty easy to do. It's really just about meditating and asking Michael to help you with that. And you can really visualize the cords being cut. And sometimes when I'm doing cord cutting, because I'm visualizing it myself, and I can see the sword will go through part way and it'll get stuck, and that's when the person's still attached for some reason. And sometimes that attachment, by the way, is because they're attached to something that happened that they haven't forgiven the other person for, or they haven't forgiven themselves for. So there's some sort of righteousness attached there that's really keeping them stuck. So moving on to Friday, I mean, I guess that cut the cord card is really just about letting go, but it speaks to a deeper attachment and a deeper resistance to letting go that the angels are gently asking you to sever and to move on because it's keeping you stuck. Friday, the 18th of August. The shuffling game continues. Okay, I'm starting to think this might not be the right deck if we don't get anywhere. Yeah, that's wrong. They always let me know in some way. Sometimes, straight away. Yeah, okay, so that was right for Friday, and I'll put that other deck aside for Saturday. Past life. Now, I know not everybody is on board with reincarnation, so if that's you, just open your mind to the possibility. And if it's not past lives that's speaking to you here, it could just be about your past in your childhood here in this particular lifetime. So they're telling me there's an attachment, which is an appropriate word, between that and this. So some of the cords that you're holding on to can be because of there's a past life connection there. Now I have this not a lot, but occasionally with readings where clients are in a new relationship and they're wondering why they're struggling to kind of commit to it, or they're just feeling like they're not quite ready for it, even though they know it's right. And that can be because they're still attached to the ex, because they had a past life connection. So there's some karma attached there, some lesson that hasn't been learned yet, or something that, some sort of memory in their subconscious that's keeping them attached to that connection, even though it no longer is healthy and no longer serves them in this lifetime. So they need to figure out a way to do some healing. And often it's past life regression that helps with that. I'm a big advocate for past life regression. I'm a Scorpio. We're all about the past, and we're all about healing from the past. That's why the Phoenix is kind of associated with Scorpios. Now that doesn't mean if you're not a Scorpio, this is not going to speak to you, because a lot of us, our souls have journeyed into all these different bodies, and sometimes we do have energetic attachments that have come through. So if you've ever gone to a particular place for the first time and felt like you've been there before, it's probably because you've been there in a past life. Now, for those of you who are just going, what the heck is she talking about? This doesn't mean anything to me. I don't believe in past lives. That's okay. Focus on what's going on in your current life. Is there something in your childhood that's reared its ugly head? Now, this is quite likely right now because we have retrogrades happening. Retrogrades happen all the time, but we have some big ones. We have the Uranus, which I spoke about in a message last week on my Instagram and on my Facebook. And Uranus is about community. So for some of us, this can be a time we need to let go of certain people in our inner circle who are toxic, or the connections become unhealthy, or something like that. And that's particularly likely for people who have got school friends they're still hanging on to, because we had so many great memories, and instead of realizing that it's okay to have those memories, it doesn't mean you need to still have that person in your life. Now, we also have the Mercury retrograde. Mercury is also kind of about friends rather than romantic relationships, although, whenever the word retrograde means the past, right? So we're always going to have, if we've got a big retrograde going on, we're going to have past stuff coming up again. And sometimes that is people who you have unfinished business with coming back again. And that could be because you need to forgive someone. That could be because you need to make peace over a situation. You probably don't even need to involve that person. It's something you need to do yourself. It could be because someone's come up reigniting an old feud that's made you remember, I don't deal with this situation very well and I need to address that. I need to stop running away from situations such as this. So it might not even be that particular situation. It might be just that it's linked to other patterns or behaviours in your life right now. So think about how things from the past might be coming up for you right now, or things from the past that need healing, and your intuition will tell you as to what that means for you. It could be anything. So really trust your intuition on that one, and on all messages, of course, because sometimes the meanings that people take from the cards are related to what I'm saying, but not exactly the same, and that's because their intuition has guided them to something different. And of course, I'm speaking to a lot of people. I have to be very general, so you must trust the specific message that's coming through for you. So Saturday, opportunity to forgive. Okay, I mean, I've talked about forgiveness already in terms of people from the past. If that message has been resonating for you, this is confirming that that's correct about what the message you're receiving about that. So forgiveness is a big issue, and it comes up again and again. If you've read A Course in Miracles, you'll know forgiveness is one of the cornerstones of that particular teaching, and that's because it is a big part of our soul journey. Is we need to learn to be at peace with the things that have happened that are not right, that were unfair, that have done us harm. Because if we stay angry, we are holding ourselves back from growth. And one of the big problems with forgiveness, the reasons that we resist it, is because we think, but I was right. If I forgive them, I'm saying that they were right. That's not the case. What happened can still be wrong, but you can still forgive about that, and it doesn't involve the other person. It's something you do internally to make peace within yourself. You're just saying, I don't want to be angry about this anymore. I don't want to be bitter about it. I'm choosing peace instead. That's all forgiveness is. It's not about who was right and who was wrong, and should this have happened? That was unfair. That shouldn't have happened. So we need to make sure that we're not holding on to things like that from the past, because they do us damage. They affect the way we approach other relationships. They affect the way our heart's willingness to open to new connections and to give and receive love, which is what we're all here to do, regardless of what your individual life purpose is. All of us, all of our souls are here to learn how to give and receive love. And holding on to grudges is not conducive to that. Now, interestingly, this is something Scorpios are absolutely chronic for. We hold grudges, and I know there are other signs that do that as well. So, and it's very, very difficult for us, because that is the one thing one of the things that can heal us the most, what we get stuck on. Because we're a fixed sign as well, we can get really stuck on that in terms of wanting to be right and wanting to be, even though it hurts us, we want to stay angry about something, or we want to stay focused on the wrong that happened. Sometimes we just want to feel vindicated, and particularly I think when there's some sort of feud has happened where you were not heard, no one listened to you, no one understood where you were coming from. All any human being wants is to be heard and to be recognised, to be understood as well, but that's not always going to happen, obviously, in these situations where you've got conflicting viewpoints and a dispute. So that's why one of the things I recommend for forgiveness is to write a letter to the person where you pour out your heart, so you do feel like you are expressing yourself, because a lot of anger comes from not being able to articulate how we feel, and not for that to not be recognised. Our feelings are not being recognised or paid attention to. So pour out your heart in a letter, then burn it if it's safe for you to do where you live. Perhaps the kitchen sink. Some people have told me they use the kitchen sink. I don't want to recommend that, because you've got to think about your safety and your home safety. So sometimes a better way to do that is just to rip up the letter. And that's a very powerful symbolic thing to do. even burning, you know, just about every religion in the world uses some sort of burning, some sort of benediction, some sort of incense in Eastern disciplines. And say to the universe as you do it, I'm letting this go now. You may need to do this again in a month's time. Sometimes really deep grudges, you need to revisit this again and again. So be patient with that process. There's also forgiveness meditations you can do on YouTube. So we're looking at Sunday now. Oh. Answered prayer, love it. What you are wishing for, what you are praying for, what you are asking the angels for help with is going to come true. Your prayers will be answered. It's going to happen. Please keep the faith. Stop worrying. When you worry, you get in the way. You block the blessings from coming through. And you block the way that the universe might be